Okay, guys, let's go ahead and start the practice for similar shapes. Okay, so review from yesterday. Similar shapes are the same shape, different sides. Okay, so for example, this triangle and this triangle are similar because they're both triangles, same shape, but they're different sides, which is totally okay. Okay, have congruent. I'm going to rewrite it over here so y'all can see how to spell it. C-O-N-G-R-U-E-N-T, congruent. And this blank is corresponding. Okay, so remember that the word corresponding means that it's in the same spot or the same position. Okay, make sure you have that written down before we start practicing. Okay, now let's look. Okay, we have two similar trapezoids. So let's go ahead and color code, okay? So I'm going to do a blue, I'm going to do a blue squiggle on the top, which means this 8 is going to be a blue squiggle too. Notice that this one does not have their angles labeled. That's okay. Okay. So then I'm going to do a blue straight line on the bottom and a blue straight line on the bottom. Remember, if you're using two different colors, that's great. If you're using a pencil and a color, that's totally fine too. So make your color codes, then switch colors, and I'm just going to do a pink squiggle for the side. Okay, I'm going to leave the other side blank. All right. So we know to solve to solve similar figures, you're going to set up a proportion. So go ahead and set up that proportion. We're going to solve for x. Okay. So remember, we're labeling. Okay, our label for the left side of our proportion is L for little. The right side is B for big. Okay, on the little shape, we have our x. So go ahead and put your x. The x was shown over here, okay, right there. It is a blue straight line. Okay, so label that bottom blue straight line or whatever color you did on your paper. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to pick another side of the little one to do on top. So let's do 3. Okay, so that 3 is a blue squiggle line, right? Gosh, how ugly am I doing this today? So sorry. Okay, so better. Okay, blue squiggle, and that is a 3. Okay, that means on our right side, it needs to be our big shape. Okay, on top is our blue squiggle. On bottom is our blue straight. Okay, so on top, our blue squiggle is that 8. And the blue straight is the 4. Okay, now remember, to solve proportions, the same thing we always do. Okay, we always multiply by the number across and then divide by the number left over. Okay, so you're going to do 3 times 4 is 12, divided by the number left over, 8. Okay, go ahead and solve that. Hint, you are going to have to add a decimal and a 0. Okay, so make sure you have it set up correctly. Go ahead and pause it and solve it. Just solve for x right now. We'll come back to y later. All right, next one. So I'm going to use my colors again. I'm going to use pink first. Okay, so I'm going to do, on the little one, start with the little one, I'm going to do a pink squiggle on the side. So I'm going to do a pink squiggle on the side. Okay, for the bottom, let's do pink straight line. So that means bottom, pink straight line. And I'm going to leave my other one blank. Okay, so that's how my color code's going to go. Make sure you are color coding. I'm solving for this x on the big shape. Okay, so when I set up my proportion, I'm going to label little and big. My x is on the big shape, so it has to go on the right-hand side. Okay, so I'm just going to put it right there. Now let's do our labels. Okay, so the x is a pink straight line. So everything on the bottom needs to be a pink straight line. My other number on the big one is a 16, and that's a pink squiggle. So that's what's going to go on top. Okay, the big pink squiggle is 16. So let's move to our little shape. What's the pink squiggle on my little shape? 4. And the pink straight on my little shape is 6. Okay, remember when we're solving proportions, you always multiply across. So I'm going to multiply 6 times 16. I will do this with you. 6 times 16. Always put the bigger number on top, it just makes it easier. 6 times 6 is 36, carry the 3. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9. Okay, so I have 96, and then divided by the number left over. So I'm dividing by 4. Okay, 4 goes into 9 twice. 4 times 2 is 8, so I subtract. Bring down the 1 and the 6. 4 times 4 is 16. So that means my x equals 24. Okay, make sure you're putting your answers in a box. Okay, so I should see x equals 24 on your paper. Okay, that's it for that one. All right, this next one. They're the same shape. They're different sizes, so they're similar, but are they facing the same way? No. So we need to fix that. So change the way the little one's facing, okay? So redraw the little one off to the side on the bottom of your paper, wherever you have room. Okay, I'm going to draw mine right here. Oops, I'm sorry. I'm going to draw mine. I'll draw mine underneath it so you guys can do the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to draw mine right here. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, there's my little one. That's, I don't know, that's a little ugly. Let's try this again. Okay, a little better. Okay, so now let's label it. Now my little arrowhead point right here is an L, so label that L. And then from L to the top is 28, and this is M. From M down is M to N, and 42 is in the middle. And then they labeled this middle part 35. Bless me. So sorry. Okay, moving on. This is an ugly triangle. I'm really sorry. But y'all have great imaginations, so you're fine. Okay, let's go ahead and label. Okay, so let's go back to pink. I'm gonna get my pink. Oh wait, this is dead now. Cross it out. We don't want to get confused. Okay, so I'm going to do my long side, a pink squiggle. So that means my long side is a pink squiggle. Okay, I'm going to leave my J to I blank. So that means my M to L is blank. So then I'm going to do I to K straight line, which means my L to N is straight line. Okay, so we're going to set up a proportion. I'm going to help you set up both proportions, but you're going to solve for X and Y. Okay, so first let's solve for X. Remember the little on the left, big on the right. Okay, my big shape has the X, so I need to put my X on the big side. The only other number on my big side is a 54, so that's the number I have to use. Okay, so now let's label. The X was blank, so I'm going to leave my top blank. My 54 was a pink squiggle, so I'm going to label it pink squiggle. Okay, if you want to put it on the side too, that's fine, whatever you want to do. Okay, now let's look at our little shape. So our little shape on top should be blank. The one that I left blank was 28. And the bottom should be the pink squiggle, which was the 42. Okay, now these are bigger numbers, but you're going to multiply these by yourself. Okay, remember that when you're multiplying, you always multiply across and then divide by the number left over. Okay, so pause and solve that, then I'll help you set up the other proportion. Okay, so your next proportion should look pretty similar. Okay, I have little, big. This time I'm looking for my Y, so put your Y. And then still my big shape, the only number I can use is 54. It's the only number there it gives me. Okay, so now color code. My Y was the pink straight line. My 54 was the pink squiggle. So on my little shape, what was the pink straight line? 35. And what was the pink squiggle? 42. Okay, so again, you just solve this like every other proportion. You're going to multiply across. I know it's a big number. You can do it. And then divide by the number left over. So you should have an answer for X equals, an answer for Y equals whenever you're done. Okay, and then I want you to go back to the very first example we just did together, and you are going to solve for this Y right here. Okay, so once you're done with everything, go back and solve for that Y. But for now, focus on this one.